And it's the worst still yet to come, as I predicted and as they're saying now. Up to 10 days ago, I warned the public that it wasn't landfall, it wasn't the hurricane winds, none of that nonsense. It is the epic flooding that is to come, and we're going to be talking about it shortly. Now, hundreds have been rescued from the so-called hurricane that made landfall. But this is the least of their worries. Florence's merciless deluge has already killed 18, according to sources, trapped hundreds, and made parts of North and South Carolina impassable. In fact, the whole section of Wilmington is basically an island. Yes, it says Chrome is not responding. So what we do in those situations is we don't touch anything, and we just wait a second and talk. Yes, here it comes. So what I'm showing you here is the gauge heights. This is coming from the USGS Northeast Cape Fear River, and you can see it going up currently as we're making the video. Above 30,000 cubic feet per second, nearing 40,000. Now, what does that mean to the layman? It means that it has now touched the red line. It has exceeded the green line and the yellow line and the brown line. Now, if you are not colorblind, you can see the brown line is flood stage here. The yellow line is Hurricane Matthew's peak. The green line is Hurricane Floyd's peak. And the red line is the operational limit. Meaning, once it touches this line, there is no more readings. And it is about to touch the line, northeast Cape Fear River near Chinkapin, North Carolina. So while we're making this video, is actually the most devastating part of this hurricane since it began a week ago at this location. And here we are at Cape Fear at Lillington, where it leveled off and then began rising again. And I'm going to tell you, from 20,000 to 30,000 cubic feet per second, that is a 33% increase in just the last 6 hours. So the people that thought they were out of harm's way are now totally fluxed because it has just exceeded the red limit. That's flood stage. So the Cape Fear is flooding almost at every locality as we speak. Take a look at this. Cape Fear at Husky Lock near Tar Heel. It just exceeded 45,000. It's at 46,000 cubic feet per second currently. So you can see here, green is Floyd's flood stage. Right here. And it is currently at this location at the Husky Lock 6 feet higher than Hurricane Floyd's peak stage. And it is still going up at a very vertical angle. It's our prediction that all of these flood stage gauges will exceed Hurricane Matthew's peak. And I'm just going to give you a random sampling from a river in the area of flood stage that we're going to show you in a minute here. And look at the vertical rise here. Earlier today, down at 700 cubic feet per second, and currently now at 14,200 cubic feet per second on the Yadkin River. Does that mean it's flooding? You better believe it. It went from less than 2 feet earlier today. It is now at 14 feet and still vertical. In the morning, there's going to be more loss of life than the 18 that we have seen. This is the part of the storm that no one is aware of. This is the catastrophic section that exceeds 1,000-year flood maximums on hundreds of these rivers, and they're all in the counties that are marked in maroon. So if you're in an area here that's marked in maroon, I cannot implore you enough to click on your county and get out of harm's way. There are right now millions of people that are in danger of washing away in torrential river flooding. Now, this is the type of flooding you don't want to be involved with. When rivers exceed their banks above flood stage, they are now incorporating natural gas, toxic waste, all of the wastewater treatment plants, and all the toxic waste that are put on the river banks for this purpose alone, to wash it out to sea so that the companies can get rid of it. And all the people that are in harm's way are going to be exposed to these chemicals. And it's the unfortunate part of catastrophic flooding that I'm well aware of living up here on the Schuylkill River near Philadelphia. Hurricane Floyd, 1999. And as we see these biblical catastrophic floodings never before recorded in history in certain areas, people are not going to be ready for what's about to happen in the next 12 hours. And the unfortunate thing is these are all going to peak now in the middle of the night before morning, and which is going to cause hundreds of people to lose their life because they're going to be sleeping and swept away in a river. Check out the GFS model for North America. No one in the mainstream is talking about this. It's still summer, and the snowfall is coming all the way down to the 35th parallel. We're talking snow in 9 states in North America in summer. I was reporting on this last year at the same time, and this was not happening. Neither was there 4 feet of snow happening in the middle of summer in the mountains of Alberta. Maybe up to 8 feet in some areas. Look at the snow sneak into North America before winter sets in. Look at the snow sneak into North America in the lower 48 before summer is over. This is up to 12 to 14 inches of snow in many of the high mountain regions. Typhoon Mangkhut hits mainland China, lashes Hong Kong, dozens dead. I've seen numbers up to 200 already. We had some of the best footage coming out from Volcano YT on last night's update that was removed from the internet. No one can see that. So we're one of the few videos that hasn't been demonetized that still is showing that footage. That's how many people died and how many structures were destroyed and how many insurance premiums are going to be adjusted. As Mangkhut marched toward the Chinese mainland, Hong Kong was buffeted by fierce winds, tore off roofs, down trees, caused cranes perched atop half-built skyscrapers to swing ominously. That sounds crazy. And that might even be tonight's first boom. Mike Tyson boom. Boom! Heads up. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. Ow. That didn't go so well, did it? Let's get that a little bigger. Heads up. I love it when a guy's face smashes into plexiglass. Now, apparently, winds of 107 miles per hour and gusts of up to 140 miles per hour were reported. And that's what those pictures showed last night as it made landfall. Those were the pictures that were deleted. Australia gripped by big freeze. Temperature records tumble. Fierce frost shattered harvest hopes. A polar blast teetering north through Australia Sunday morning is sending temperatures plunging 10 C below average for this time of the year, and the kangaroos are suffering. Walpay saw its coldest September morning in 23 years and coldest morning this late in the year in more than 50 years on record, recording a maximum of negative 0.8 C A 24-year record was shattered in Victoria's Hunter Hill, where temperatures dipped to a frigid minus 2.6, and Falls Creek reached a 12-year low of negative 7.6 C, while Mount Hotham saw negative 8 C, and the summit of Thredbo negative 8.6 C. The glacial weather has attributed to an unusually strong cold front we know as the Grand Solar Minimum pattern. Yeah. Let's look at the latest Arctic sea ice thickness numbers, and you could pick up what I'm putting down. Here, we can see Arctic ice well above the last 3 years and well in the multi-decadal average, and has been there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 months in the multi-decadal average. I thought the Arctic was melting. And wait a minute. 3 months here, it was above the 20-year average. It was out of the standard mean. That means that's a record high in July. Arctic ice had a record high in July. Wait a minute. Arctic sea ice volume was record in July of this year over the last 50 years? How come no one told me that? Heavy snowfall in South Island disrupts flights and cuts power. Electricity is slowly being restored to central Otago residents who lost power after heavy rain and snow downed power lines. Heavy, wet snow, Al, fallen trees and snow-laden branches damaged overhead power lines in the spring down south. Power has been restored to 900 customers in Queensland's Lake District. That means they didn't have power. Oh. Where's the bomb when you need them? Certainly not under Mike Tyson's fist. Major flash floods hit Balıkesir province in Turkey. Totally fluxed in Turkey. Major flash flooding hit Turkey, Balıkesir province, September 13th, damaging roads, homes, and shops. There were no injuries or fatalities, but people were swimming from shop to shop. It was crazy. I was there.